Hi, welcome to another Maria's Moments. It's getting dark, but I'm at a playground, and just like on my website, mariahaiti.com, I have the Playground of the Soul, and so I thought this is really kind of cool. I wanted you to see this playground. And so anyway, today I thought we'd talk about the angel inside who has long gone home after the life force leaves our bodies, and what are we really as physical beings? And so sometimes, we take for granted our bodies, and our bodies are so miraculous. I mean, we are walking miracles, really, when you think about it. And they're perfect. And sometimes we fall into the trap of disrespecting our bodies, like we disrespect the earth. We don't take care of it as well as we could, and sometimes we abuse it, and so it suffers. And we end up suffering as a result of that too, because if we feed it garbage, or we feed it fast food, or we overstuff it, or we even have we have feelings about it, so we may think we're ashamed of it, or we might think we're too fat, or we're too short, or we're too tall, or we're too thin, or we don't, or we're too wrinkly, or we're too old, or whatever. And so we watch our body breaking down. And sometimes we become so obsessed with that you see those women who've had all this cosmetic surgery and their lips look like they're, like these huge lips, or they've got all these facelifts and stuff. Looks like they just kind of, turn the skin up on the top of their head, and all of a sudden they, it's kind of funny. But, we don't really appreciate who we are at every given moment. When we're young, we want to be older. And when we're older, we want to be young. So, when we are too young to be carded to go into restaurants or something and have a glass of wine, we wish we were older. And then when we're older, we want to be carded. And so, anyway, it's just kind of silly, and so we want different hair color, and so we dye our hair, and we put on makeup, and we do this, and then guys have plugs for their hair. Their bald spots, and so they plug them in with that hair restoration or whatever, or they take, Rogaine. And then we go and have cosmetic surgery, and we go and have our eyes lifted and our face lifted, and a new nose and our teeth capped and stuff like that. But really, our body is just so miraculous, the way that it was created, the way that God gave it to us. And our body is our clothing of our soul, and it's not our mind, and it's not our soul. It is just a body. And we don't know if, just by looking at the body, we don't know who that person is. We don't know if that person is kind or cruel or loving or twisted. And I had the benefit of spending nearly 3 years studying anatomy. And I had cadavers that I dissected and that I was able to study. And I taught nurses anatomy, although they didn't really have enough cadavers to teach the nurses. So they wanted me to teach an anatomy lab to nurses on a cat. And I was like, when I first walked in there, I expected like a big silver box, which is where, a big, I don't know if they were stainless or whatever, big steel boxes where they kept the cadavers. And all of a sudden they had a little one, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a child. I can't open this. It was just going to be too painful for me. And I opened it up, and it was a cat. And then I called my professor, and I said, I can't teach on a cat. I can't do a cat lab. And they said, oh yes, a cat is just, it's very similar anatomically to a human body. And they said, oh, you'll figure it out. And I was like, oops. But anyway, I had such a blessing because I was able to to feel the honor of the human body as I dissected, the organs and the tissues and the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons and the fascia and the bones and the cartilage and the nerves and the arteries and the veins and the fat and the hair and the teeth and the glands. You know, our body is just so miraculous. But again, the body is just a body. It's just like clothing, because we don't know what is the soul, what is that person, what is that spirit within that body, you know. And it's it's almost like, you know, you have this body and you have all the organs and everything within this casing. So the skin is almost like, I don't want to sound gross, but it's almost like a tamale or some kind of a, you know, in a tortilla, because the skin is the wrapper, and then everything within the body that comprises the body is within that skin. And the skin is the largest organ of the body. And so it holds the soul and the mind. The mind, you know, is really the ego, and the soul is the heart. And so when we think of the eternal being, that's when we really, you know, can appreciate who we are, because it's not our body. It's not like having a new outfit on, you know, when we go from one life to another. If you believe that, then we put on different clothing. But a lot of the wounds we take from lifetime to lifetime. And that's why this particular lifetime at this particular time on the planet is so important. And that's why we are having so many issues, because we are purging a lot of wounds that we have had from past lifetimes, and we are here to clear them. And then to be able to go into, you know, a higher dimension. And we are able to, you know, some people may be able to even ascend, which, I mean, it sounds so amazing, you know. And that's when we can get in touch with maybe even beings from other planets. Because again, I know it sounds ridiculous, but one of my favorite movies when I was a little girl was The Day the Earth Stood Still. Does anybody know that movie? It was with Michael Rennie and Patricia Neal, I think. Yeah. And it was, they had a big robot, and they came to Earth, and they, these beings from another planet or another galaxy or another universe said, you know, they were warning the Earth that and Earthlings that we were self-destructing, and that we needed to see love, and that we needed to stop the nuclear warfare and to stop all the dissension, and that we really were going to destroy ourselves if we continued on that path. And so maybe in another video I'll tell you more about that movie, but it's a beautiful movie. In any event, we abuse our body with every thought that we think. So we can, every moment, we can either improve our body, or we can abuse it. So it's kind of a positive or a negative, depending on the thoughts that we think, and the words that we speak, and the emotions that we have. Because if we're thinking things that aren't in our best interest, then, you know, we're eroding our health. And so when we think of our bodies, you know, you can think of a baby's body. You know, it's getting kind of dark. I can barely see the camera. But anyway, we think of a body, and we think of the child's body and the baby soft skin, you know. And I know with my babies, I used to like kiss them all over their little round little butt cheeks and stuff, and especially my favorite place was behind their neck. They had this little, I used to kiss it all the time, and I would tickle it, and I'd rub it, I'd massage their heads and everything, and it was just so beautiful. I just love children. And so their soft skin, and they were just perfect beings, you know. And we can honor our physical body, and we can feed it good things instead of alcohol and cigarettes and vaping and drugs and sex and stuff like that. That's just kind of disrespecting the body, unless it's done in an environment where it's a loving environment, and where we're increasing the vibration But so when you think of an adorable chubby baby, you know, and you think it's gurgling and giggling, and then you think you send it to school and it gets bullied and it's hurt and it feels like it's not good enough, and you know, it's crying and stuff. And so that's when we really know that it's so important to have our connection with our Creator, because then all this stuff that happens here in physical reality is just nothing. It's like a game. It's like a board game that we go through the motions, but really we know who we are, because we're so much more than our body. We are our soul, we are our spirit, and we are here to soar and thrive. And so the message today, I guess, because it is very dark, I can't even see anything here, but it's that, you know, life here in physical reality is very short. And so enjoy every moment of it, and know that you are so much more than your body, and yet you are your body when you are here. And so the way you take care of it is really the way it will serve you or not serve you. So we're really here as a soul to expand and to be loved and to love. And so that's my message for today in the darkness. But maybe I was going to show you maybe stars, but there are no stars to see. It's kind of a cloudy night in Southern California. But anyway, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.